Hi everyone, welcome to Indiana University's I-106 Introduction to Fishing. My name is Roger Kugler. I'll be your instructor for this class. I've been teaching this class since the early 2000s. In fact, I even lectured in this class back in the dark ages of the 1990s. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. I've been a lifelong fisherman. I learned to fish when I was probably 4 or 5 years old with my grandfather and my uncles up in northwestern Pennsylvania, the Allegheny Mountains. I grew up in eastern Ohio on a dairy farm. We had 120 acres to roam and explore and fish and hunt, and it was wonderful. A few things I'd like to let you know before we really get started about myself. Number one, I am not an IU professor. By profession, I'm a custom woodworker. I've been doing this class, like I said, way back in the 90s. I love teaching. I love teaching fishing. And so this is just something that I've really enjoyed doing over the years. And they pay me, which is really cool. You guys get a credit hour for a fishing class. That's not bad either. So, the other thing I'd like you to know about myself is that I'm not an expert fisherman. Yeah, I've been doing it all my life, but no, I'm not an expert. I don't fish big tournaments. To be really honest with you, I don't really even like bass fishing that much. Myself, as you can probably tell by now, I'm a fly fisherman. I like bluegill. I like trout, but there's not many trout around here, so I like bluegill. We'll get into a little bit more of that later. And honestly, it's not that important. What is important that you guys are here in this class, eager to learn, and that's what I'm going to try to create for you. In this class, I've broken it down into 3 different sections. I start off with Unit 1, which is a super simple basic fishing. If you've never fished a day in your life, this is for you. We're going to start from your very first rod, reel outfit, using bait, catching bluegill, maybe catfish, largemouth bass. Unit 2, we're going to go a little more advanced into the spin fishing and bait casting. We'll learn how to use artificial lures. We'll learn where fish live, what they need, and how we can really target the fish. And Unit 3 will take a deeper dive into, well, yeah, you guessed it, fly fishing. We will also take a look at aquatic invasive species, how they infect our environment, and what we can do to combat them. We'll take a real deep dive into fish physiology and the environment and how the two interact, and we'll figure out ways of finding fish when conditions are really difficult and challenging. So that kind of wraps up the 3 units. Each unit is broken down into 3 parts. I start off with a fish species and anatomy, combine that with conservation and ethics, and for the first part, the second part, I talk about tackle and all the nuances of that, and the third part is safety. And so those will be the kind of the rhythm of each of the 3 units that we go through. Okay, so how are we going to do all this? Well, I think that might be a good time to go back to the computer, and we'll pull up the syllabus and we'll kind of go through that real quick. And I'll show you how we have this laid out and how the grading system is going to work for this class. Okay, let's take a look at the course as it appears on Canvas. Now, of course, I'm in student view. Your appearance will probably be a little bit different. But we're right here on the home page, and first thing at the very top is the announcements. I ask you to check the announcements every week. I will release new material on Tuesday mornings, and the announcements will cover anything unusual might be going on, or maybe some reminders. Pay attention to the announcements. That's the only real way I have to communicate with you through this class. So here's a little bit about me, how we'll learn in this course, the weekly announcement, the video lecture, and the quiz that we will take each week. These are some of the expectations I have for the class. I'm trying to do a couple things here. Number one, I don't want to really put a whole bunch of stress on anyone. This is a recreation class. It is supposed to be fun. And so I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. The one thing I will ask you to do is don't fall behind. If you get more than 2 classes behind, I will be contacting you and seeing if there's a problem, if there's anything that we can do to get you caught up. I don't want students 2 weeks before the final realize that they've only taken half the class. That would be a disaster. The tools you're going to need for this is Canvas, of course, and YouTube. That's all I'm going to use. Keep it simple. Everyone here knows how to use YouTube. I've had a lot of problems with the other IU tech, and so we're just not even going to mess with it. Here's some other resources, especially for freshmen. Familiarize yourself with. There's a lot of really good, helpful information down here. If you can't figure out how to do something, ask. IU has an entire staff dedicated to your success. If you don't ask, you can't take advantage of that, and it's kind of your own doing. Anyway, so there's the announcement section right here, and everything that I do on Canvas is set up in modules. And so the first thing we see in the module here is the video lecture for Unit 1, the Introduction to Fishing. And there is the corresponding quiz for that. Again, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. There's only 3 things you have to do every week. The announcement, watch the videos, and take the quiz. Boom. That's it. If we go back up here to the home and drop back down to begin this course, read the first announcement, and then read the syllabus located in Files on the left-hand menu. If we come right up here to Files, this is where I keep everything for the class. And the first thing we have is the syllabus. While we're here, I'd also like to point out 2 other files that you might find of interest. This is A Treatise of Fishing with an Angle. This was a book that was published 1496. It's one of the very first sport fishing manuals ever published. So we've been doing this for about 500 years. You'd think we'd start to figure it out by now. This is written in Middle English, if you are so inclined. This one is a translated version into Modern English. Give the Middle English a try. It's surprisingly how easy it is to kind of pick up on what they're saying. Anyway, let's take a look at the syllabus here. Again, this entire class is online, material released on Tuesday. Here is my email for IU. When we get around to the fishing report, I will give you an alternative email that you can send things to me. But this one will certainly work. Here's my phone number. I love talking on the phone to students about fishing, so have no reservations about giving me a call sometime. Obviously, this is an online class. There are no office hours. Again, call me, email me, text me. I'd be happy to help you any way I can. Here's the course description of what we're trying to accomplish here, along with some objectives. I'll let you read that at your leisure. Remember, we're not actually going to fish in this class. We never fished in the in-person class either, so don't think that you're getting slighted. There are 2 exams. I'll talk about that more in a few minutes. There are no textbooks or anything for you to buy for this course. Family and personal emergencies. Again, you need, if something comes up, contact the Dean of Students at this number. They will be able to help you. They have done some amazing things with some people, some students who have experienced life, and we've been able to generally help people out. There are 2 exams. There's a midterm exam and there is a final. More on that later. The grading procedure is really simple. I break it down into 4 sections. We have our quizzes, 100 points each. When you take a quiz each week, generally these are 5, 7, maybe 10 questions, not very long at all. You get 2 opportunities to take the quiz. The highest score counts. So pay attention to the videos. You should have no problems with these at all. The midterm, we'll do this around week 8. Doesn't take very long. It's like 25 questions. The fishing report is rather unique for this class. What I ask you to do in this report, and we'll talk much more about this later, is that I ask you to relate your major, your field of study, with fishing. I know that sounds really weird. Let me explain. If you are a finance major, maybe you want to go into equity markets, stockbroker, that type of thing, I would invite you to write a report about some of the best publicly traded stocks in the fishing, hunting, outdoor industry. That type of thing. I had a young lady who was going into pre-med, and she did a report on fishing injuries. She included graphics. The graphics were very graphic and very gross. I did not share that with the class. That was a bit much. So that's the type of thing I want you to do is just, and right now, just start thinking about what in the world does my major have to do with fishing. I guarantee that there is a relatable topic there. I've not been stumped in almost 20 years. And even with the engineering students coming in, I still haven't been stumped. So there's it's wide open here what we can do. Most students find this to be the most fun part of the class because it really lets them kind of get out and kind of explore. And this report, I'm not talking about 25 pages or something like that. Are you kidding? I am way too lazy to read a 25-page report. I'm talking about 2, maybe 3 pages here, okay? You're going to have to be tight. You're going to have to write very concisely. But I'm lazy. I'm not reading any more than that. You also have a final exam. End of the semester. Take note that the final exam is the week before the campus-wide finals. I'll talk more about that in a moment. So basically there are 3 4 areas that you're going to be graded. Each one's worth 100 points. Add those up, divide by 4, boom, there's your grade. So the grading scale is 90 to 100 is an A, so on and so forth. Here's some other information that you should familiarize yourself with. And we get down to the schedule. Again, I will release new information every Tuesday morning, and the first one will be the introduction video that you're watching right now. I have the approximate runtime of all the videos over here in the right-hand column. It's not exact. Sometimes I make edits and I don't get everything updated, but it gives you a rough idea of what you're going to be accomplishing that week. The normal class is 75 minutes, and I've been trying to keep the videos right about that same time. Some weeks are a little shorter, some weeks are a little longer. On average, I think it all averages out. Don't feel that you have to watch the entire week's videos all at one time, all 75 minutes. You can break this up a little bit, however your schedule allows. I know that some people have told me that this is the best part of their week because they can just kind of, sit back, go on YouTube, watch the video, and it's relaxing, and they take great enjoyment from it. A little personal recommendation I might give you. I know that I don't have the fastest speech pattern in the world, from the Midwest. What a surprise. And honestly, I think I sound better at 1.25x speed, so you can go into YouTube and change the playback speed. About 25% bump. I start to sound pretty good there. Anyway, it'll save you a little bit of time, and you might find it actually easier to listen to me because I know that I don't speak terribly quickly. I had mentioned that I have broken the class into 3 distinct units. And so up here we have Unit 1. This is the basic fishing, introduction to fishing. We're talking spin cast reels, bobber, worm. Super, super simple. And I will go through the anatomy, conservation, as one part, then we get into the tackle as part 2, and then we finish it up with safety issues in part 3. And in Unit 2, we go into more species, and we introduce a little bit more sophisticated tackle. And down here into Unit 3, down in October, we get into fly fishing and aquatic invasive species and some other things that are just a whole bunch of fun. Thanksgiving break, November 23rd, yay. We'll come back and we will have our final review, and there's a video on for the final review, and of course you can always contact me with any questions that will be on the final. December 7th will be the final exam online on Canvas, and you don't have to compete with anything on the campus-wide final exam week of December 13th through the 17th. So that's about it for the syllabus. Again, if you have any questions, please contact me. And I think we've covered everything there. So let's get out of this and jump down to modules. And we can see the video for week 1, and let's go to that right now. So here's our video for week 1. My channel is Fishing with Roger on YouTube. And if you type that in, I don't know, probably like number 12 or so on the list, depending on how YouTube is feeding recommendations to you. And I have and if we go to the Unit 1 lectures, we have the intro right up here, and the first video, Unit 1-1-1, which is part 1 of the first unit, part 2 of the first unit, part 3 of the first unit. And then the second week, we go into 1-2-1, so on and so forth. Somewhat organized. It probably could be better. But here you'll find all of the videos that we're going to cover in Unit 1. In addition, point to some other videos I put up here just for your enjoyment. These are videos for Unit 1. And this is just a collection of videos that I think kind of supplement what we have been talking about in Unit 1, how to fillet a catfish, urban catfishing, how to fillet fish, so on and so forth. And you're not required to watch these. It's just they're there if you maybe you want to take and not really study that accounting homework and just waste some time watching videos. Here you go. I've got a whole list of videos that you can waste a whole bunch of time watching. I also have some other categories: bank fishing, alternative fishing. This is a really interesting collection of people who are using fish in art and other forms than just catching fish, cleaning fish, eating fish. And if you have a few minutes sometimes, take a look at that. And some funny videos right here you might find amusing. So that's the my channel on YouTube, and whenever you watch a video such as the intro, feel free to leave a comment. Wow, that's depressing. Feel free to leave a comment. I do get notifications and respond there. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. So after you've watched your video, you can come back over and drop into quizzes and go to your week 1 quiz and just click on it and go down through. Again, you have 2 tries. It will give you the incorrect answers, so you can kind of manipulate this. I hope everyone should have 100% on all of the quizzes. It's not that difficult, again, if you're paying attention. So that's how we're going to run the semester. Read the announcements on Tuesdays. Watch the videos sometime during the week. Take the quiz. And we'll throw in a couple exams and a fishing report, and we should have a wonderful semester. So, welcome to Fishing I-106, Introduction to Fishing. And stay safe, and we'll see you in the course. Thanks a lot. Bye. Okay, I'm out of here.